Hey, what are you doing? Loose dog. Magnum, what you doing out? Gotta go put a dog away. Or better. I want to show you that all my framing isn't laughable. This framing for this bench here, I did some time ago, as well as this one over here, where instead of having the legs coming straight down to the floor, I put them at an angle back to the wall. Of course, the back side of the bench along the wall is attached to the wall. You have to have a good attachment there. But this saves a lot of space, so you can store some stuff under there. And I'll show you some pictures after I put my stuff back under that I have under there temporarily. Shop vac and, air compressor, things like that. But that's really a space saver, and it's actually very strong. And I saw one recently, a guy had one made out of all steel with the supports going back to the wall like that, and it was like a welding table for him or something. But I had never seen one designed like that out of steel. You can see how that would be advantageous for getting stuff under there. I'm kind of in the middle of moving my shop, so that's why I have a lot of things in bins and on carts like that. But if you can imagine, if this was a leg, it was of course up underneath the bench there, and if you had two more, one at that end and one at this end, to give you the same amount of support every 4 feet, that's an 8-foot bench. that those legs going straight down would be more in your way to utilizing the storage underneath. So just wanted to show you guys that. I'll throw my stuff back under here and give you a shot of that again. Okay, so you can see once I put some of the items back underneath there, you can get a lot of stuff in there, more so than if the legs were straight down, like this compressor, for instance. You know, it's way back near the wall. If you had a leg, you either couldn't get it in there or you'd have to muscle it around there. I suppose the things on wheels, the shop vac and the dehumidifier could roll behind a leg, but this just makes it easier. Everything's straight in and out. Now if the items were taller, of course they're going to interfere with this leg, even though it's on an angle like that. Like say over here underneath this, I already put some stuff back, this 8-foot wide bench, you know, the top of the angled leg comes out farther, so it impedes more into the space underneath there. But it's still easier to get things out. You can pull it out and then you can start angling it. You know, you don't have the leg in your way, it's back. So this is a 32-inch deep bench from the wall out. That's why those come out farther. This smaller bench over here is just a 24 inches deep bench. And I've had a lot of heavy stuff on there. I've had some big bench vices on here, and then I've stood on here to gain access up into my attic above my garage. So my body weight, 250 pounds plus, you know, 3 vices, one a 6-inch, pretty big vice. Well, that's probably another, probably with all that stuff on there, probably another 200 pounds or so 450 pounds at least being supported on that with just those 2 angled, and those are just 2x3s. Like I showed you earlier, they don't even go down to the floor. They go on top of that 1x trim, but they're right up against that stud. You see my line on the wall and the nail holes? And I'm sure I got that one lined up like on a stud. Yeah, I do. I can see the line on the wall. Whereas these, you can't see them that well. As I pull this out, you can see that this one I ran down to the floor. So if they line up on a stud, you can see there's a line on the wall there. So the center of this bench is, which is where this angled leg is. That's 4 feet. That's the center of the bench. The bench is 8 feet. The position of the bench wasn't really working out with the stud layout, so that's why I ran these down all the way to the floor and up against the 1x trim, so it carries the weight across the bottom plate of the wall and the studs as well. That's all I got to say about that. On to some vehicle and trailer repairs and things. One of my trips, when I took a load near where we plan on moving to, I had to run over a dead deer in the highway. It was dark out still, so I blew a left front tire on the tow vehicle, messed up the brakes on that wheel, messed up the exhaust on the tow vehicle, which I just had replaced, and I lost a bunch of air out of this tire. and I couldn't figure out why. I took it to a couple different places. They couldn't figure out why, so I gave up for a while. And finally yesterday I took it somewhere, and they said it was the valve stem. They replaced the valve stem. So they said they put 80 pounds of pressure in it, so I just checked it, and it's been in my vehicle overnight. It still has 80 pounds, so I'm going to put it back on. That's one of my spares. Same size tire, just a different brand. I'm just trying to keep the wear equal on the 4 trailer tires that were on the trailer when I purchased it. My 2 spares I'm trying to keep fairly new. There we go. Back to the 4 original tires. We were expecting some rain last night, so I covered the winch up. I need the towel. On the trip where I ran over that dead deer, I also discovered on that trip at some point my horn would only work intermittently, and then it stopped working at all. So when I got home, I pulled the airbag off here and checked it out. What it was a manufacturer's label the glue had aged and the label fell off and got in the way of the little doohickey for the horn, and one of the plastic tabs got broken off that holds it down in there to make a ground contact. So I ordered a new part and it's been in for a little while, so now I'm going to take care of it. If I can remember how it comes apart, which I don't. The hardest part about getting in here is getting the popping the airbag off. I already have the battery disconnected. So this is the airbag. Like I said, I already got the battery disconnected. I'm gonna pop the airbag off of there. Let's see here. There's 4 Torx that hold this in. I'll show you the new part. So these are the new parts. Let's see. So this one goes up there. Go like that. There's a spring under there. The spring is captured. Springs are on the new parts too. I saved most of my old parts just in case something else breaks and I don't want to buy a whole new one. Little clippy washer in the teeth, I gotta flatten them out in order to go back on there and hold that spring on. But this is the part I'm replacing all this. 2 little ears here and one was broke off. You can't order just this and wire it in, you gotta get the whole thing, which was pretty reasonably priced. I got them from Rock Auto. This one has both ears on it, just goes down in that hole. Okay, yes, that just pushes down the hole, and the two clips, two plastic clips spread out into these two square holes on the side. Okay, got that in there. It's a little tight. So when you press on the steering wheel center, make sure to get that tight all the way. These are going in tighter than the ones that came out. When you press the center, pushes these plates and makes a ground contact there. Okay, nothing in the way. See, that goes on like that. I hate working with old plastic because it's so brittle. That's something else that was wrong on a YouTube video. You're not supposed to just pop that off. You're supposed to pull this tab out and then pop it off. I just tried putting it in and it was really hard going in. So then I pulled this tab out. You just have some little fingers on here that spread these little hook tabs out that holds it in. It wasn't going in there very easily. It did come off. I pried it off. Wasn't going in there very easily with the little finger deals in there. So I got those out. It goes right in there. The finger deals go in there and locks it in there. Now this just snaps in there. Make sure the wires are out of the way. There, and it's not, horn's not blowing because I have the battery disconnected. So let's go reconnect the battery. The other thing I had was I bought some knobs. This is all from Rock Auto. The knobs for my radio. You could just buy, I think, 2 knobs, or a small set of knobs, or a large set of knobs. I bought the large set of knobs, and I just needed one little knob. It went MIA somewhere. I hope they're the same. Oh yeah, they look the same. A little treble knob was missing. I was having to turn the shaft. Can't have that. Horn works. Not a very big area to hold grease, evidently. Gave him 10 pumps, probably could have gave him 5. It's hard to tell, but these fenders got squashed a little bit. I had some big toolboxes on here when I was taking a load down. It's hard to tell because I had some two big toolboxes, one on each fender. And on this side, the weld broke on my bracket and squashed this fender. The toolbox bouncing, and then the weight of it squashed this fender a little bit. So it's hard to tell, but it's bent out right there. Right there is maybe easier to pick up in the camera. I'm just going to walk them back. And of course the powder coating is flaking right off of there. My grease gun went missing for quite a while there, since the last time I worked on the winch. Some of you saw me greasing the one lever end of the winch. I forgot about greasing the fair lead, so I wanted to do that. But I couldn't find it. I looked and looked and looked. And just like sometimes when you're looking for something, you find other things. I had been looking all over for this snatch block. I thought maybe I had moved it and left it in the storage unit. So fortunately I don't have to buy another one of those. I do have to get some hooks for a small piece of chain so I can hook the snatch block onto a stake pocket. Whenever I'm loading the trailer with large items, I take the wood sides off so I have access to all the stake pockets for snatch blocking. In case the load's not coming up straight, I need to pull it over a little bit. The other thing I found was my bin of jumper cables and heavy gauge wire and cable that have been saving up for the winch project. Well, I thought I had moved it already, and I'm stuck here now waiting on some realtor situation to get resolved. So I'm doing more work on a trailer and vehicle and some machines that I have here still. So I thought I had moved that, but lo and behold, while I was looking for the grease gun, I found my bin of cables. Unfortunately, the longest ones are not long enough to wire up to a battery inside the engine compartment. I have a second tray in there, and run it all the way to the rear of the vehicle. But I could have used some of that cables to rewire the winch, because some of that is a little stiff. Not really crunchy, the insulation, but it's been scored in a few places. I've had to tape it up, so maybe I'll get to replacing some of those damaged wires, or frayed, not really frayed, but the insulation has been abraded away on some of the heavy gauge wires on the winch, all the black wires. There's 3 of them running up to the motor, and then 1 or 2 of them I had to tape up pretty heavily. So I could possibly get that done. I did get some other material for doing the storage in the tongue area. We'll call it the tongue storage, where all my chains and binders are going to go. That angle iron that's laying there is going to get welded on the bottom of the tongue, so this expanded metal doesn't fall through with the weight of what's being stored in there. The other thing I'd like to do is build a box for my hitch. It's actually the ball mount, or the drawbar, some people call them, that your ball gets attached to. This is a equalizer hitch. It's a weight distribution hitch, and lots of times it's so heavy I don't like carrying it back and forth off the vehicle and putting it in my garage. And it's got a little greasiness to it because it's got to be oiled for it to function properly and not wear prematurely. Some swivel points where the bars slide into it, if you're familiar with weight distribution hitches. So I like to build a wooden box for that to go in the back of my vehicle, so that thing's not rolling around and putting grease in different areas in the back of my vehicle. So that's what I'm going to do next. So here's the back of my tow vehicle. This is a box I just had. I just thought I'd throw it in there to see how it looked. I used to have a whole bunch of these boxes. I used to be a remodeling contractor, and I had an enclosed 16-foot trailer. I had all set up like a mobile shop, and I had a lot of tools in boxes, gun nails and things I put in a wooden box because the cardboard boxes would eventually fall apart from going down the road and sliding around a little bit. So I had burned a lot of them boxes because I was getting ready for a move, so I was putting a lot of stuff in plastic bins, getting rid of the boxes. I wish I would have kept some of them. I might have had one that was adequate for this hitch, but now we're going to make one. heavy by itself. Let's see, I want to put it in there the way I want to grab it. I'm going to grab it like that. So drop it in there like that. This is a box that has all the remotes in it. The wired one, the larger wireless, and a little keychain wireless one, which I haven't used yet. I haven't tried that one. I forgot I had it actually. Well, that fits in there. I have a set of jumper cables in the vehicle all the time, but in my bin of cables and things I was collecting, I found this pretty nice. I mean, it's cheap, but it's pretty nice condition. Set of jumper cables, short ones. I could put the battery temporarily in the back of the vehicle and just run jumper cables to the winch. That way I wouldn't have to worry about any type of battery box or battery area on the trailer. And that's one thing that can easily be stolen, I guess. A guy could, if you had some hold downs on it, a guy could easily break the hold downs and make off with your battery. So maybe it'd be better to have that in the vehicle. A little bit that I am going to be using the winch anyway, so. These pieces of plywood I keep back here, these are to go over my car ramps, so I can roll things up in my trailer and roll things down, heavy items that I have on casters. That's what those are for. So I'm just keeping them in there to help protect the carpet, because I take the dogs back here once in a while, take them to a park, let them burn up some energy. So that's what that's all about. You can probably see that in one of my videos, like a shop moving video or something like that. I forget the title of it. Okay, so that's about it for this video. Making some progress with getting the trailer equipped for moving things, pulling things on and off, and getting the back of the tow vehicle set up for that purpose. Would like to say that lots of times, can't say lots of times, but I have heard that there are some communities around where I live now that if you leave your ball mount, your or drawbar, or however you want to say it, on your vehicle, you can technically be ticketed for it, and I guess people have been ticketed for that. So that's another reason for keeping that off the vehicle and inside the vehicle whenever I'm not using it. Plus, you know, you don't want that to get stolen. I don't know why a guy would take it, because you need the bars and the other parts for it, but maybe some people don't know that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll add some pictures on the end of whatever is pertinent